Good morning. It's a beautiful misty morning here with the birds and Nadine Artemis here, one of the key creators of Living Libations and all the wonderful blends. Going more into the oils, tell us what your favorite oils are that you like to use in the blends and your creations.
Favorite's hard because there's so many great ones. I love Vetiver, and it smells great on you, for example. It's a great masculine, rooty aroma. And our Vetiver is a very special distillation from El Salvador. It's part of an organic topsoil erosion project. The roots are strong, they're stable, they're huge, and they're part of a grass that grows up to about 6 feet tall. And this is a really deep, resinous, essential oil that we use with the Vetiver. There's also another distillation. We have the Rucus, which is a co-distillation of Vetiver and Sandalwood, and that's done in a traditional way in India. And we also have a Sandalwood mitti-attar, and that's really neat. That's the dirt from the Rajasthan desert before the monsoon, co-distilled with sandalwood for a whole month. So the attars are so special. They're a really ancient method of distillation. And what
so you're taking dirt.
Yeah,
the dirt of the land, and you're actually able to put that on your body and smell it, and that's beautiful.
And then there's also sometimes we get a special Vetiver mitti-attar that comes in, and that's where they have the Vetiver roots co-distilled with the sandalwood, and they don't really wash the dirt off the roots, so you get this other earthy texture. We also have the rose attar, which is rose co-distilled with sandalwood, and sometimes we do a jasmine attar comes in. That's the Mosha attar, and that's just gorgeous because you're getting the jasmine flowers steam distilled through the sandalwood.
Wow! So we're talking about the attars here.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the attars.
The attars are really gorgeous, and they're really quite ancient. They're a method of distillation where sometimes the plant was too delicate to distill on its own, so they would co-distill it with sandalwood, and the sandalwood would bring that delicate plant material like the roses into the essential oil form. And this method is really interesting. It was developed around 11 or 12th century, in the 12th century, by the Persian poet Farudian Attar. And he is a poet. He wrote a book called The Conference of the Birds. And I'm sure a lot of people have heard of Rumi, the poet Rumi. So Attar was like his father's age, and he knew his father. And he was a great poetic influence on Rumi. And this man, Attar, was just like, he was a physician, he was a poet. You know, apparently he would see like hundreds of people a day. He was a royal physician, and he would also just like help people all day long. And so he's a really interesting genius.
So in India, is it in India that the attars are made?
Now they're traditionally made in the traditional styles in India. They've kept the tradition alive.
And that's who you are getting the attars from?
That's where the attars come from. We do also have some more other really more modern, but really people that are tapping into ancient ways where people are co-distilling with frankincense.
Wow.
So sometimes we have like a jasmine frankincense distillation done in like glass alembics, and those are beautiful as well. Also, like I'm just thinking of the roots. We have osha root. Osha root is the first herb that that a bear will seek after hibernation, and they'll roll around in it and they'll eat it. And it's a really deep, deep medicinal root for the bear, and it's got a really great aroma. There's ginger root, which
is it good for humans too?
Yeah, and it makes a great aroma. I remember we would drink the hydrosol sometimes.
Yeah.
So ginger, you can use in chocolate, you can use culinary. It's great for the immune system. It's very antibacterial, antifungal. It's in the hot berry immunolume that we have, which gives a nice spicy, warm note. We also have the turmeric root, which is a really potent yellow color. A few drops in honey, amazing. Great for skincare.
Really amazing for the immune system.
That's also in the immunolume hot berry. Which that's an interesting combo. It's got cinnamon, ginger, turmeric, shoshanderberry, sea buckthorn berry. These are all things that help with the immune system. They're all culinary.
The immunolume hot berry.
Yeah, so it's a yummy formula that's good for you too.
Yeah, it's amazing. You can put it on, and you can also ingest it.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the essential oils.
And then are there other roots? Yes, spikenard root. Spikenard's really neat. That's another ancient root. It comes from Nepal. And It's just so earthy, and it's quite good for sleeping. It's a deep relaxation. And our distiller distills the roots. It's also known as Jatamansi root. And that's an interesting story with Mary Magdalene, whose father apparently used to have a spikenard grove and would distill the spikenard roots. And she would always have a little alabaster jar of the spikenard. And apparently in the story of the Last Supper, when she's washing Jesus' feet with her hair, she's actually anointing spikenard over his feet, which back then was more costly than gold, more precious than gold. And later on, Mary Magdalene became the patron saint of the Perfumers Guild.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a really neat one to put on the soles of your feet.
Why the soles of the feet?
Well, it's interesting. Studies have shown that when they're on the soles of the feet, it has an ability to really be absorbed and travel throughout the body. And the great thing, again, about essential oils is they go in, they're lipophilic, so they go, which means they can go through fat. So our skin is made up of that, and they're able to penetrate cells, they're able to pass the blood-brain barrier, go and do their work and leave, so they don't build up in the body. You know, they just pass through everything. So they have this really fine molecular structure that's very harmonious with our body.
So friendly, so clear and pure and potent.
And you know, let's talk actually in general about the use of essential oils, because sometimes it's like, wow, how do I use these things? It seems complex and varied. And on one level they are, and they're all so different, and they smell different. But again, they're all antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral. And really, there's just a few ways to use them. You just use 1 or 2 drops at a time, and then you can either inhale, like this, inhale from the bottle, inhale and diffuse in your home. You can put a few drops in your bath, or you can apply them through uses of skincare. Some of them can be used neat for a cut. Otherwise, you're blending them with a jojoba or a great botanical oil, virgin coconut oil, and you're applying those to the body for different purposes. And that's it. And that's it. And then from there, you can go on and go through using all the different oils.
And they're all safe and easy to use.
Again, when you're using the guidelines of just like 1 or 2 drops, and only a couple, like only some of the culinary ones are for internal, the rest are for external, and you know, they're all safe. And if there is sort of a mistake that you do, like you put in like too many drops of juniper in your bathtub, juniper berry, which I think so many people have done. I definitely did this when I was first starting. I put in like 10 drops, and I was like, it's just a bit hot on the skin, but there's no, you know, and then it fades.
Yeah, I've
and
done
so
that too.
yeah, we've all done that. We've all learned. And then so that's really, you know, how it goes. But you definitely don't want to be ingesting whole bottles or anything like that.
No. Well, thank you.